Hi, so it's Simon and Jamie here from One Day Web.
Sir.
Another one of our podcast, ground control podcasts. I keep thinking of David Bowie every time I say that.
You can start singing if you want, man. Got the mic. I think we'll lose visitors pretty quickly, but...
So, Major Tom here is going to be talking about content types, video, photography, copy. I assume you're going to be talking quite a bit about video there, and its use on websites and others mediums as well. So this is the last one in our series of 4, but we are going to be doing more podcasts, so stay tuned and we'll let you know what's coming up. So yeah, Jamie, let us know what you talk about.
Yeah, so as a content creator of about 10 plus years experience, which makes me sound really old, but actually... I'm only 30, so I think I've still got a bit of life left in me yet. The biggest thing, the biggest hurdle and the biggest challenge that I encounter weekly, really, working in a kind of content creation environment, particularly with video, really specifically with video actually, is when you talk to a business owner and say, okay, video is a really good source of content for you to be pushing out. The amount of people looking at your promoted content and your adverts is mostly going to be viewed on phones, nearly all of your potential prospects. But there's loads and loads of stats, loads of facts and figures. In the description, we'll drop a link where you can actually go and look at some facts and figures of video content. You can see for yourself how important it is. Anyway, not here to sell video. We're here to actually just talk about the idea of actually using content and actually the different ways that you can use content. So actually there are many different ways to skin a cat, as the saying goes, and there are many ways to use video to promote your brand and your business. Many ways to use photography. Many ways to write copy, and obviously at One Day Web, as part of that process, we actually cover all of those types of content. And when we come back to a theme that we talked about in a previous episode of, getting the client sat with you, you can then really truly understand what type of content is actually best for their brand, business, and how they're going to push that out on social media.
With, right?
Yeah. So we're not going to talk too much. Yeah, exactly. What they're actually comfortable with, and that's really important because we need to make sure that the client is not only comfortable with the content, but is happy that the content displays the message of their company in the right way. And if the client isn't happy with that, then you have to address that reason why. And then that's when the content starts to become a bit more of a collaboration and a bit more of a journey to understand that. But in terms of content types, when we're talking about video, we'll start off with video because it's probably the most meatiest subject. Most business owners just assume that when you say you need to include video content in your business, it means I'm going to come around with a big fat camera, pop it on a tripod, and you've got to sit in front and talk down the lens for 5 minutes, right? Which is like, if you're in the early 90s, probably. But the advent of the internet and the advent of things like Facebook and social media have just exponentially grown the access to this stuff, to access to the content. So actually what you need to do is create content that is going to stand you head and shoulders above your competition. And the only way that you can do that is look at your brand, look at what you stand for, what your company mission statement is, and actually start to produce content that's relevant to that and resonates with you. Because if it resonates with you and it's coherent with your business goals, actually that's going to be coherent to the type of people that you want to attract. So when we talk about video, it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be sat in front of the camera. With video, we kind of tend to break it down into 3 areas. You've got the promotional type of video, you've got the testimonial and case study style video, and then you've got the live content, which is a relatively new introduction in the world of video. The promotional videos, things like filming products, filming your service, filming if you're a sales company, might have salespeople out on the road, filming projects, filming installations, filming the end result of a strategy that you've worked with the client. That can be products and services. So it's much easier, obviously, you can imagine, for a physical product because we've got something visual and tangible that we can touch, see, feel, interact with. But actually, if you've got a service that's not a physical thing, then that's when we can look at things like animation. That's
the fun bit, isn't it? That's the creative bit.
Of course it is.
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Maybe it's props, maybe it's all sorts, isn't it?
Exactly. It's finding the best way to actually tell their message. And looking at kind of some of the, one of the One Day Web clients that we had was a mortgage broker, and actually we had to find interesting and creative ways to actually put their message across. Now the video we actually opted for their purposes because they get a lot of frequently asked questions about mortgages, about how do I get one, how can I apply for one. We went for a series of Q&A videos with the owner of the company, and actually that did them a really good turn because what it did is it solved a continual problem of having to reply to emails or answer questions that actually allowed the client or prospect to see the questions answered before they could get in touch, which saves the business owner so much time.
Yep.
You know, that one little time of investment to get the videos done actually saved them a heap amount of time.
And another one we did, you went out and recorded a horse transport company. You went out
That's
and
right.
recorded them.
Yeah.
But obviously on the day, we couldn't get a horse inside.
Well, horses can't walk upstairs or they can't walk downstairs?
I think it's down.
So we can get them up, but then
can
we'll
get
have to
it
lift it out
up.
of the
Yeah,
window,
yeah, I
chuck it
believe
out of the
so.
window. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not ideal.
But yeah, we went off and found a prop and took a photo of that, and that's used on the website.
Exactly.
So there are, and actually it works really. It's different.
Yeah,
I think
content is such a massive minefield because in most instances done is better than perfect, and I think in a lot of instances in business, you know, a fairly well-ish written newsletter that has been signed and posted with a stamp and has gone to the client is better than a perfectly crafted newsletter that's still sat on your desk, right?
Definitely.
When you look at that analogy, you think, well, actually getting something out is better to get it done rather than just like deliberating it over months and months.
You're losing more by not having it out there than you are by somebody interpreting it slightly different to the way that you may have intended.
Yes, exactly. And the more content you put out and the more feedback you get, the more you're able to actually fine-tune and develop your strategy from there. So as I said, you break it down into the promotional style where you're maybe selling what you're doing, showing people a process. The video testimonials is a really accessible way into video production. It's highly cost effective because you only need basically a self-shooting cameraman and a couple of hours of time. They can come to your premises, get your clients talking on camera about what you do, and I absolutely guarantee and promise you that your conversions will go up. You cannot buy feedback like that, you know, because it's from the heart, and you need to get people, your clients that are happy with your service, engaged on camera, talking about what you do.
I think it's also important to say you don't need to put a percentage to it, but it's quite obvious that Google, who everybody who goes to a website, own YouTube.
Yes, yeah.
Google like video.
Yeah.
People like video. I'm sure I've seen a stat from you, probably can't get it straight away, that says that video is probably the most watched media online or something.
Yeah, the most consumed media online.
And from website point of view, I always advocate that actually a one-page website with a video will perform much better than a 20-page website without video.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really powerful.
Yeah. And that's coming back to the idea of integrating the content into your website, which, you know, I'm talking really specifically about the different types of content. In a previous episode, we were obviously talking about, you know, the ways to actually integrate content into the site. But it's really helpful to go through that process of looking at your own company, your own business, your own brand, looking at what you stand for, what the mission statement is, because your content needs to reflect that. So then we move on to like the Facebook Live, and this is a question that I always get from people about, I don't really get what it is though. I don't really get how do I use Facebook Live? There is absolutely no reason from listening to me right now from today that you should not be using Facebook Live as part of your video marketing strategy. Facebook Live and Instagram Live, Snap, whatever you use to gain access. Everybody wants everything yesterday. They want stuff immediately. And obviously, you know, One Day Web was born out of kind of part of that necessity. But actually, Facebook Live enables you to connect with your prospects and clients instantly, immediately. Yeah. There is zero delay between like them watching you, the stuff you're recording, the stuff that you're talking about, and we're actually doing.
Yeah, I thought, well, we're up to 10 minutes through our podcast.
Yeah.
We're kind of going, and you just sort of hit on it.
There is no reason why listening to this right now that you shouldn't be using Facebook Live. And we are live right now from our One Day Web page. So what we're going to do is try and attribute this video to the podcast so you can actually see what we're doing. But it doesn't have to be structured. It doesn't have to be scripted. It doesn't have to be in a really well-lit environment, tripod, stable. Actually, what it's about is it's about connecting, communicating to your audience immediately. Grabbing their interest, grabbing them by the balls, literally, grabbing them by the bits and saying, look at me, I'm here, I can solve your problem, this is the service. And it doesn't have to be sales. You're not talking about, I sell this and this is what I do. You're talking about a potential blog post or an article you've seen. Or you might be out walking the dog and think, oh, actually, this is quite interesting. This has come to my mind. This is what I'm thinking about. And actually, it's that stuff that engages with people, and it's that stuff that actually will keep people coming back to you for like value content.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's valuable, it's free, right? Need I
It's
mention?
easy.
Need
Picked
I
up my
mention?
phone and just clicked a couple of buttons.
Need
and,
I
and it's
mention
there.
that the promotional style video and the video testimonials, there is an investment, right, that needs to be made. Facebook Live and all the other live platforms available are free.
And you tap into a
And you're tapping
market
into
there.
your audience in an incredibly amazing way. They're developing new features all the time. You've got live stream, you've got YouTube, you've got all these other live platforms. But I feel, obviously, with the reach of Facebook as well, with nearly 2 billion active monthly users, you're far outstripping the likes of kind of Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram, even combined. I dare say that actually, Facebook gives you that user base combined.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid. This is the problem I think that a lot of people have with content. They're afraid to use it. They're afraid to use technology. They're afraid to touch and press the button and hit record and click go, and then they freeze and they go, oh my god! Just talk to your audience as if you're in a sale, as if you're in a meeting, as if you were talking to your mate in the pub, having a cup of coffee, having a drink. Yeah. Having a pizza, whatever, over dinner, you're talking to them because it's human, it's interaction, it's free, it's now, so you all need to go and do it.
And if it's bad, you can always delete it afterwards.
Well, yeah, you can. You can delete it if it's bad afterwards, but I would even advocate that a lot of the time, just keep it, because even if you're not showing the public, but keep it, download it, watch it back. How might you want to improve that? Might you want to have a little setup where you've got a particular background, maybe? Yeah. You don't just have to go live from your desktop, from your mobile. You can go live from your desktop now. Yeah. So you could run webinars, screencasts. This stuff doesn't cost anything, but it's really, really great content.
Yeah.
Didn't really even get really much onto photography, but photography is whether you're going to film it documentary style or posed. Yeah. How do you want to represent your brand in an image? And that's necessary, and you're better to hire a photographer than you are using stock imagery.
Yes.
And the copy, you can write that copy yourself if you know your business. But actually, what we found is if you have a third party come in and talk and write your copy with you, you actually get that kind of third-party client perception from the outside.
Outside the bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Outside the bubble.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And sometimes you're so involved in the bubble that you're writing what you think your prospects want to hear. Yep. But sometimes that isn't the case.
You're using their terminology.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to talk to the people. And actually, by having somebody external from your business, they are that people, aren't they? In many cases. It comes from a strategy, and it comes from knowing your brand. It comes from knowing what your mission statement is, what your end goal is. You need to know that. You definitely need to know, as you do with building a website. Once you know those things, you can then work backwards and decide what's my strategy going to be and how am I going to create this content.
Awesome. Get content out there. So that's another podcast from Ground Control One Day Web, even on live. As we speak. So we're putting this out. This will be coming last. So actually, that was a sneak peek of the last podcast that probably might not be published for another couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, if you're on the live now, then look forward to the podcast. If you're on the podcast now listening to this, there are going to be more.
Make sure you subscribe as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at One Day Web Studio. Subscribe to the podcast. Get us on social media, follow us, and you'll be in for a real treat with some of this content we've got coming up.
And send us your comments as well of what you want to hear.
Exactly. Get involved.
We've picked on quite a few other bits that we'll start putting together. So till next time, we'll see you.
Bon voyage.